We have a scary Miami Heat update that has serious implications for this team going forwards, as now the Heat are going to have to make some tough decisions in regards to their rotations, as we have just seen a massive change of plans for the team going forwards, and now we're going to see some young guys step in for some bigger roles than expected earlier on this season, and we are going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Heat Digest. It's Chris here. Before we jump into the video, make sure to subscribe if you're part of that 81% that's not subscribed. We have a bunch of videos coming out right now. Training camp is coming close, and there's going to be a lot of content coming out about that. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to go over because the Miami Heat and head coach Erik Spoelstra are going to have to make some initial changes to the lineup and rotation that they plan on using in the beginning of the season, as we just got a huge update on one of the Heat's really most important role players in Haywood Highsmith. And the report was revealed by Michael Scotto, who said, Miami Heat forward Haywood Highsmith had successful surgery this morning to repair a meniscus tear in his right knee, which he suffered while training in Baltimore. He will begin rehabilitation immediately and is expected to miss 8 to 10 weeks. Now, Highsmith last year in 24.6 minutes per game put up 6.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He was also getting a steal per game, showing very nice defense and just being a good 3-and-D player. One of those guys that the Heat just sort of make come out of nowhere. He shot 38% from three, 44% on corner threes, and 46% from the field. The majority of the shots that he does take are assisted threes, and he's been very good at that throughout his career thus far, especially with the Heat. On top of that, we've seen Haywood Highsmith be a solid playoff performer. For his career, he shoots over 40% from three in the playoffs, and given the first two seasons, he was not playing very high minutes, but still, he was getting into games consistently, and that is something that we do have to be aware of when considering everything. Meanwhile, when you look at the numbers in general, after averaging 11.5 minutes per game, he has put up a career 3.5 points, 1.6 rebounds in the playoffs, and as of recently, he did have his best playoff run, as he shot 46.7% from three and 58% from the field, averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist against the Cleveland Cavaliers last season. And now Highsmith, who obviously will be ready for the playoffs against a meniscal tear, he's going to be fine in 8 to 10 weeks. But now the Heat are going to be without Highsmith getting a training camp, and that routinely throws players off. Those training camps, those preseason games, they're important because you start to get your groove back. When you watch teams in those preseason games, they're rusty. They're very clearly rusty. It happens all the time with whatever NBA team you want to look at. There's a bit of rust because these guys did take time off. It's not like when you're an NBA player, you spend every single waking moment of your life shooting a basketball. There's going to be days where these players are not playing basketball. I mean, we all remember that Anthony Davis quote from a while back where he was like, I haven't touched a basketball in like a month. And Anthony Davis is still a great player, albeit injury prone. But when you look at it, guys have frequently decided that they're not going to pick up a basketball so they can reset their mind, and then they will get back into it as time goes on. Now, Highsmith, being a role player, he doesn't always have the luxury of knowing that he's going to have his job waiting for him, but being under contract as well was a good little sign for him. Now, he was working out when this happened, so he was getting back to the swing of things, the pre-training camp work that these players do, and now he's got that meniscal tear in his knee that is going to keep him out for an extended period of time. And a recent post from Anthony Chang says that with Haywood Highsmith expected to miss 8 to 10 weeks, this means he will likely not be ready for training camp or the start of the season, the regular season that is. There's a world where Highsmith just will not be there, and that's where you have to look at a couple different situations. And the Heat will definitely look into some younger guys now taking some of those moments away from Haywood Highsmith. Now, when you look at the rotation or the depth chart right now, you do see that Highsmith is listed as kind of a backup wing forward. He can play the 2, the 3, the 4. He's one of those players, very versatile. And you see with him in that unit is guys like Davion Mitchell, who's really more of a point guard, but can definitely play the 2 as well. Jaime Jaquez, who could play the 2 or the 3 as a wing. You got Simone Fontecchio, who could play the 2, the 3, the 4. And Nikola Jovic, who could really play just the 3+ at that point. But now Kasparas Jakucionis is going to get a bigger chance as well, because he is listed at backup point guard here via Hoops Hype, but he's not necessarily a pure point guard at all. He is a combo guard at 6'6". He can easily play the 2, and we will see him and Davion Mitchell start to share some touches if he does get that backcourt spot while Highsmith is out, and that will be huge for him because now he'll be starting the season with a real job. I mean, you look at Jakucionis in college, and look, he was solid. He definitely was. At Illinois, he played well. He put up 15 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. The numbers were good. The shooting numbers weren't great, and that's the big thing about Jakucionis is that he's not the world's greatest shooter by any means. He's not expected to be. He's a good playmaker and can score inside. But when it comes down to it, he is going to be someone who now has a chance to really show up earlier than expected for the Heat. And obviously that Heat player development is something that we all hold to a very high standard. And Jakucionis now is going to show up very early, which does not always happen with Heat players. Now, we saw him play in Summer League, and he was definitely solid. I mean, he had those games where he was excellent. He had that 24-point game, that 15-point game. But there was also nights where he was not great, and the shooting percentages weren't good. He shot 31% from the field, really 32, but still same thing, and 21% from 3. Now, again, he was able to fill up the stat sheet to a good deal, grab some rebounds, got some assists, got a couple steals, averaged 1.5 steals per game, 2.5 assists, 3 rebounds. But honestly, the numbers definitely were not ideal. It feels like he's going to need some time to grow, but also guys routinely can have bad summer leagues and show up in the regular season and just have it going. It's not going to be the first time we've seen that happen or something like that happen, so that's something to also keep in mind as well. But we also look at a guy like Jaquez Jr., who's going to be able to also step into a bigger role. After last year, we saw a severe dip in minutes and production from Jaquez. Now, Jaquez, his first year in the playoffs, he was good in that series. I mean, put up 13 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. The shooting numbers were not great, but he was putting up good raw numbers. And again, the true shooting at 46% is awful. But last year as well, 6.3 minutes per game. His numbers, his efficiency was not there. And obviously in 6 minutes, it's hard to get like a ton of efficiency going, really. You're either going to be severely inefficient or severely efficient just based off like the limited attempts on everything. But when it comes down to it, Jaquez now gets a chance to kind of rewrite what happened after a great rookie year that made him look like a future member of, like a future real core player of the Heat, and then things kind of took a wrong turn. But Jaquez, he put up 8 points per game last year, 4.4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, shot 46% from the field and 31% from 3. Jaquez will now get a chance to get some bigger minutes as Highsmith routinely played over Jaquez. And now at the start of the year, Jaquez has a chance to kind of right that wrong for himself and go out there and really start to give some actual production for this team going forwards. Now, obviously, Highsmith is not going to be out for a very long time. We still have a bit of time before training camp, and then obviously preseason's like 2 months away, but Highsmith is not guaranteed to be back in 2 months. That's the earliest time that he'll be reevaluated and be able to return to basketball activities. So there's a world where he's going to come back and he's not going to be ready to really start ramping things up until 2.5 months from now. And 2.5 months from now, the season's going to have begun. There's going to be a game or two under the belt by the time Highsmith is getting going. And yeah, they might throw him right back into the fire. It wouldn't be shocking. But at the same time, now there's preseason where Jaquez and Jakucionis both have chances to kind of take minutes away from Haywood Highsmith, and that is going to be interesting to see how the Heat go about it and how Spo goes about making these decisions, because it is something that very likely could change the trajectory of the Heat this season. This injury means more than it initially appears because it is going to carry into the NBA's regular season. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.